What up, everybody? It's your boy Evan, one half of MF Pearl. We got the other half sitting behind the camera, making sure that we rolling. We got David back there. I got his mic today because we got one of them episodes where we got two guests. Boy, you know what it is. Legends Only in the building. Wednesdays, Volume 2, live at MFHQ. Disclaimer. Live at MFHQ is in fact not recorded live. It's actually a pre-recorded program. This episode contains really explicit content, so feel free to do what you wish with that information. If you're going to be so kind of like, follow, and subscribe for me. We go very long with new episodes every Wednesday. Now back to the show. Yeah, make sure you guys keep doing what you do, showing love on all of our platforms. Make sure you guys keep up on YouTube. That's where you can find all of our full-length episodes at, or you could go to mfpearl.com, straight from the source. You can keep up with us and all of our latest updates at Instagram at mfpearl. And then whichever platforms you guys listen to the podcast on, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, make sure you guys give it a rating, share it, show some love, like it, follow it, whatever you can do to support. So that way we can keep growing the show, get this series in front of more people's eyes. But let's get back to the show. I always take like 3 minutes to do that shit, but I'm speeding up.
That was a fire plug, dude.
Efficiency. Yo, today we got two gents in the building who've been killing it in the podcast game. We got a few podcasts that have been rising up in the city, and they're definitely one of them up there. And I immediately, personally, want to follow that up by saying and giving big props for how they've begun to grow this into a platform beyond just a podcast. They recently celebrated the platform. They brought the community together. A lot of the people that are out and making moves in the city came through to support this and to recognize the importance of vulnerability and mental health. El Paso needs more focused projects such as this, and I believe confidently such as ours. And I'm just a big fan of every project that I feel is coming up with concepts, staying true to them, and staying committed to the goals that they set in place. Because I think I don't know, I don't know how the saying goes, but I want to call it a dime a dozen, if you will. But without further ado, I want to introduce the boys. From the most vulnerable player, we got RAMIREZ and JAMES CURRY in the building.
Yeah.
Yo, hold up. Let's just take a minute, bro, because this intro was crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
that
Was clean or what?
That was
Dude,
clean, bro.
Get that shit.
Nah, for sure. People don't understand, bro. Talking in the mic is not easy, especially in front of camera. So just know you killed that shit, bro.
Appreciate that. It ain't easy, you're right, man. But we get it done. Mm-hmm. How you boys doing? I know you're not having the best day, Curry.
Dude,
but I hope this brings it up, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're all about vulnerability,
Dude,
bro.
we're off to a good start already.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, I think it's been really good. I mean, just nothing but good things to say about what's been going on. Obviously, like everybody, there's things that you have to go overcome. There's a lot of, we all go through our certain things throughout the day, but for the most part, bro, we're here, we're alive, we're still doing our thing, so it's been good, man.
That's good.
Yeah.
So for the audience, I think lately it's been really good to kind of have a clean introduction to your guys' main project. Do you guys mind just kind of describing the most vulnerable player as a platform and what your guys' mission is?
Yeah, of course. So I think I could start kind of how it all got started, and then I think James can kind of go into the vision that we have and exactly what we're all about and what we try to talk about on the MVP. And so I'd say for the most part, so it's called the Most Vulnerable Player, MVP for short, and it is a podcast platform that I initially started back in December 2022. So I had been editing videos for a good while. I was doing just YouTube vlogs, really just content on social media and stuff. But I would say 2 years prior up until that point, and even still now, I was just going through just a lot of mental health obstacles that I think a lot of people do go through as well. But I just remember having just very very memorable experiences with that. And I guess what ultimately led to the podcast was me just kind of sharing my own story about it. Just because I feel I don't know, I feel me expressing myself in that way, it just helped a lot in a lot of different aspects of my life. One of them being just helping out other people that were going through the same things. Mm-hmm. So being that I already knew how to edit videos, I already knew like the production aspect, and I had been listening to podcasts forever. It's a very I think it's a very comforting thing for me actually. Not only is it motivational, but anybody who knows me will tell you like I'm just constantly listening to podcasts. Sometimes like even when I'm about to go to bed, like I just throw one on just because I don't know, it just feels like a comforting thing at this point.
Yeah.
So started that really just I didn't even have the name for it when we first started the first episode. I just knew what I wanted to talk about and who I wanted to have on. So I had the first episode with my brother. And yeah, man, 3 months later, I was able to build a little studio in the loft of my parents' house, which you have seen before.
Yeah. It's cleano.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, man. And I did episode 2, and then from then on, man, it started a little bit inconsistent in the first, I would say 5 to 6 months, but I would say around September, October of 2023 is when it really started to get going. And that's when my best friend James was, because he had been traveling for work and stuff. We've known each other since we were like 5 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew that he is someone that I wanted to be alongside me doing something like this. And so when he started being able to come around more, I think it was a natural thing that just happened where we started to really just hit the ground rolling with each other. Do you want to talk about a little bit of like what we try to talk about and just like the vision that we have and what's to come?
Yeah, so I mean, really like our goal, our end goal is to just inspire the masses, you know. We want to, you know, make our platform reachable by, you know, people across the world, across the globe, and we want to just promote, you know, vulnerability, creating this different environment for men and women to, you know, be comfortable talking about uncomfortable topics, things that we don't normally talk about, and we just want to make people feel comfortable in their own skin. Essentially, we want to empower everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We want people to be able to feel free in their own skin, and essentially, we want to make everybody feel heard. And so we try to bring different people, different cultures, different backgrounds. I mean, you name it. And so that way, hopefully, you know, something can connect with another person that may be watching at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sir.
Man, it's good, dude. Because what episode are you guys on right now at this point?
So the next one will be 42.
And then that's the one that's going to get released?
So we're actually going to release number 41 tomorrow, I think tomorrow night. And then we're supposed to record 42 sometime this week, and then we'll release that next week as well. So we try to do one a week.
No set date throughout the week, though?
No, just because our schedules are like all over the place, bro. So
Crazy, dude.
it's literally like, yo, can you do this? And that's been the hardest part lately, has been like actually scheduling. Because when like we kind of had a little bit more of an open schedule, but just with like the new positions we've taken in our jobs and careers and stuff, it's been a little bit harder to like nail down a specific day. And then not only us, but also making sure that the other person is able to do that day. So there's been a few times already the past 2 weeks where we've had guests lined up and then just can't do it that day, and so we have to completely like reschedule. Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure you know it can be a little tough at times doing that, but we try to do at least one a week, and hopefully we can ramp that up. But for now, I mean, we have other things, we have other jobs that we have to, I mean, take care of.
Yeah, it takes a big piece of like the pie chart of your time.
For sure.
I feel you. It's tough, dude, but it's even more props for what you guys do and how you manage to like fit it into the schedules. Mm-hmm. But like even fitting in the live event from the Heart Fest. Let's talk about it. Yeah. What was the occasion? Were you guys celebrating like the 1 year anniversary or anything of it?
So the 1 year was technically like, I call the 1 year because I said December 22, but I consider the 1 year when we did our second episode, because like I had the brand, I had the studio. So it was technically in March of this year was a 1 year. So I guess it was somewhat, but really, it really just came from us wanting to throw an event that we can have all our people come together. At first, we hadn't even thought of a live podcast when we were first thinking about it. We just knew that we wanted to really just host something.
Yeah.
Because we go to a lot, and I'm sure, I mean, you as well. There's a lot of really dope events that, like the people in El Paso, artists, businessmen, just communities throw together here. So we really got inspired by a lot of those.
Yeah.
But we wanted to have our own twist on it. So I think we had started talking about it in like December of 2023, and then just like it was kind of in the works a little bit, but we really hit the ground rolling like in February, like just with all the details. And then that last month was insane, bro. As you know, I mean,
hell yeah.
it almost feels like you're losing control a little bit.
Yeah, I want to ask it in this form of the question, like, what toll, if any, did that event take on your guys' like mental health?
Oh,
even if it's just a little bit, like that pressure and like that stress, dude. Like,
Yeah.
what was that like?
I mean, you could do
Well,
it first.
I mean, I would tell you right now, this dude was stressed out, dude. I probably wasn't
I
as
bet, bro. I
probably wasn't as stressed as him, but I mean, he sure as hell would make me stressed out because he would like
I could feel that. Yeah.
he'd put some certain things and certain duties on me, and sometimes I'd be busy with other stuff. I got a pretty demanding job right now, so it was a new job for me, dude. So I was like new to the job,
Yeah.
and so. I mean, I was just stressed out because, I had such little time to focus on certain things. And there was even times where he had to do more and back me up because I didn't have the time for it, right? So he kind of took the shit end of the stick this time around because I was just so caught up adjusting to the lifestyle of work and stuff. But I was still stressed out doing the little stuff that I was doing.
Yeah.
This guy, though, he was fucking going crazy, dude.
Yeah, it was a lot, bro. And like you say, he had just started his new job. And so I already didn't want to I was still constantly hitting him up, don't get me wrong, but I didn't want to do too much because I knew he had, he was getting comfortable with his new job. I know the hours that he's working are ridiculous. So the last thing you want to hear is when you get off like a 10-hour shift is to freaking,
Hey, go fucking do something.
yeah, exactly. So I really took a lot upon myself and Lucy. Shout out to Lucy. Want to give her props too because she definitely, before we even started the event, we were kind of looking for someone to really just kind of join us and to making this making it happen. And
Yeah.
honestly, our first choice was like Lucy because I don't know if you met Lucy yet, but she's an amazing person just overall. I think we had her on the podcast once, but we immediately thought it was like she'd be the perfect person for this. So shout out to her. But yeah, man, I think. For sure, the last month, leading up to it, and then specifically the last week was overwhelming. It really was. And I remember telling him maybe a few days before, even though I'm so excited, it's gonna be an amazing event, but I cannot wait till it's over, just because it was, yeah, it was a lot, man. But looking back on it, I wouldn't have it any other way, because it was very fulfilling. It was,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
even though it was so much work, the nights I was very freaking anxious the night before. I remember doing some really stupid shit, just because my mind was all over the place, bro. And then even the day of, a few hours before, we were still getting key things done before the podcast. And then our podcast guest, shout out to Christmas, man. He couldn't so he had hit us up the day before, which just sucks. But I mean, shit happens, bro. Totally understand where he was coming from. But yeah, we had to find a new guest literally that day. So it was just, yeah, man. To answer your question, mental health was definitely not the best.
Nah, dude. At one point, this dude was literally delusional. I thought he lost. He forgot what reality was for a quick second, dude. I had to check this dude a couple times. Bro, what are you doing? And he was just
man.
he even he sat there and just had a staring to click. He's like, I don't know.
Man, dude, respect, because I didn't realize that you had to get somebody the day of. That's a big hurdle, man.
It was tough, man. We were originally just gonna roll with us, but thankfully, Joanne had stepped in, and she was already in our minds of a potential guest. But I know that we had talks with Christmas, and I think he would have been a great guest, especially for our demographic as well. Just our age, and I think he resonates with us. And he's one of the most charismatic people I know. So I think it would have been a great pod, either way, and it was.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad you were able to make it out, bro. That meant a lot for sure.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I had to, bro.
Mhm.
For sure, man. Like I was saying right now in the intro about like I don't know how many. I feel like I can count like on like a couple hands how many projects there are that I feel are focused and are hitting these milestones. And I think these projects of ours, they really do try to inspire me to, be a part of the community more on like the giving end as well.
For sure. I mean,
I'm
you.
always working on that. So I appreciate the opportunity to work on that.
No, yeah, and you literally. I mean, your event was a few weeks before that,
Yeah.
so I'm sure you can relate on a really like a strong level, you know. Cause,
Yeah, of the work that goes
yeah,
into it.
because I even
Absolutely.
remember because we both went to your event, and I just remember seeing you, and that was the most like not that you're locked in, but I just remember seeing you just running around, and it was just you can tell you were just like
Yeah. There's a lot to do, bro,
Yeah.
but it was a big learning experience.
Mhm.
Because a lot of the organization like fell on us at the end.
Mhm.
I think the biggest challenge for us was somehow like just getting like the complimentary stuff for the guests.
Yeah.
We weren't at a bar or anything, so we had to figure that out like on the whole level.
Yeah.
We had our challenges too.
Yeah. How'd
But-
you feel about, because just being honest, we were fucking shitting bricks the whole time before the event, and even like a couple hours before about tickets.
Oh,
People
yeah.
are very last minute.
Yeah.
Thankfully, people showed out, and it was a good turnout.
No, yeah.
And we sold a good amount. We sold a decent amount before, but not as many as we had wanted to. Thankfully, people bought it like a lot at the door, but that was one thing we were like, dude, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was tough, man. I was stressed out probably second most or first most, either about that or the drinks.
The drinks.
One of those two things were the things that stressed me out the most, and they go hand in hand because honestly, I just felt like, how much more do I gotta give people with the ticket for them to be convinced to drop $20 on some local shit?
And that's the thing.
You know
bro.
what I
It's
mean? Like it was like,
Yeah.
fuck, how much more has to go into this
It's like
shit?
we feel like we gotta pay you back almost.
Yeah, dude, it was tough.
Because no one's just
bro. It
gonna
was
flat
tough.
out buy 20. You know.
yeah.
It's just like
It just depends. It sucks to say, bro, but people spend their money, but when it comes to certain things, like then they'll start questioning it. Like you have a DJ at one of these big ass like bars, like people drop $50-$60 on that shit,
easy.
and don't get no drinks, don't get no raffle
Oh man,
tickets.
it's tough, bro. It's tough. But that's one of the hurdles that we're trying to overcome too. Is just to try to like provide new events to go to, more intimate ones.
Yes.
But we also haven't really been in the live event space all too much. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like most of our platform is privately filmed, and then the
Yeah.
podcast is like there's no one here right now.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, and that's what like your guys' platform is too. Is primarily privately filmed.
Exactly.
So, I think for it being like first time efforts on both ends, it was really clean.
Oh, for sure, bro.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
that was it was a special. Those performances are very special. You felt the energy, and that's one thing. Like we talked about our event, like even though we were all over the place because we just wanted to focus on really just giving people a good experience. We were glad we were able to feel like, especially the feedback we got. But like just to mention, you mentioned like we not too much in the live space of things. So for us to do a live podcast, especially so early on, dude, it was, I think somebody had like mentioned it to me and made me think about it. I was like, dude, that's true. Like we weren't even sure exactly how it was going to be received at all. Like we weren't sure people were just going to be like standing around or just like not even engaged, not even talking. We were afraid of hearing chatter. Like, and it was definitely a hurdle and a leap that we had to take. But thankfully, I think it worked out, and it was just, I mean, but I remember talking to you like, there was a few times where we looked at each other on stage like, is this shit working? Or like, because we hear a little bit of chatter, but then we would feel like people would be engaged. But I think it turned out good for the most part.
Yeah.
But we were nervous. We literally planned out the podcast like 30 minutes before, bro.
Damn.
What we were gonna talk about,
literally.
how this was gonna go. Like when this happens. I was just running them through like, all right, this is what's gonna happen.
It's because, bro, we had really did our homework on Christmas.
Yeah.
So we were all
Oh,
thinking, we
true,
were
yeah.
prepared for Christmas, and all the prep was for
Fair.
him. So
Fair
I was
point.
comfortable with Christmas, bro. And then like Joe was just like a whole. So like last minute, we're just like writing up a
Damn.
game plan, dude.
Yeah.
Scrolling through Instagram, just trying to get all that.
Bruh.
That's tough, bro. But it's cool that like you can kind of tie the experience into like the concept of it.
Mhm.
You guys have you guys are about to be in or are in the 40s of the episodes, and you guys talk about it for the most part. You really stay on topic of vulnerability, mental health, processing emotions throughout your day-to-day life. Out of all those episodes, I mean, what stands out in terms of like what you've learned by like dialing in on that topic?
Yeah, that's a great question because there's so many different ways I can answer this, and I'm sure you do too. I think when it comes to one thing that I did not expect was not only like the feedback from like the audience, but the guests that come on, their experience is even like is amazing to see too because they'll come on and like I feel like it does something for them as well. Obviously, it helps them get their name out a little bit more, get some exposure. People get a little bit more insight into their life, but it's almost like they get to talk about things that they don't normally always talk about. Because I think that's one of our strengths is like I think we do have a very, I mean, obviously we still have so much to learn, but I think we have a natural ability, at least I like to think, to really just, if not relate to someone, I think just have empathy for someone and their story, and just ask the questions that we feel are going to make people feel comfortable about sharing it. And so after every time, especially like with guests we've never met before, they're like, dude, that was an amazing experience. And just the feedback I got like from the people around me, like I feel like they just hit a new stride after that, because they're just motivated by what that experience was, what they talked about, and even just getting some of that stuff off their chest. Because some of the stuff that they talk about, they're holding back from, a lot of people. So when they talk about it, it's like a whole weight is lifted off their shoulders. They can feel like they're just themselves now. They can just do their thing,
Yeah.
What would you say?
I mean, honestly, bro, you hit it on the spot, bro.
Yeah.
Like just like empowering the guest and like seeing how they take our experience, man. And I mean, you hit it on the dot, man. You hit it on the money.
Yeah. And also another thing is there'll be times, and I'm sure you can relate, where you could just get flowing into a conversation, and the whole vibe, you can just feel, there's a certain feeling you feel where you're just so, it's almost like a flow, because I think with anything there's flow, like you can hit a flow state, and with conversation, like you'll just hit a certain time throughout the conversation where you're like, wow, there's something really special happening. They're sharing something like very important, and it's something that you can almost just feel that energy. Like I wish I can like take people into that recording room because it's really a special feeling when it's all coming together and you guys are just so on the same page and so locked in the conversation. And that's something that I think I enjoy the most. I think that's why I keep doing it, because shoot, you even get emotional sometimes, man. I can't count on my hands how many times I almost like I kind of like teared up on some people's stories, and I can count. I mean, I know there's definitely people that have cried on the podcast itself. So it's overall, man, it's just there's a lot of different aspects, but I think that's one of them too.
Vulnerability, the topics that you guys cover, they can get a little, I mean, not even a little, they can get sensitive. We were just talking about it. I don't know if you guys have, but like how do you think you'd approach or receive maybe some takes from your guests that maybe like you don't necessarily fuck with, like with it being such a sensitive field, you know what I'm saying?
Like when they say it and we're like, oh, we're not sure if we want to put that out, or
maybe along that lines, but also just in general thinking like, damn, am I about to maybe go back and forth, or should I just kind of like allow them to?
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Yeah.
I think there's certain times, because first of all, me and him like to argue about shit or like go back and forth on things. But I don't think it ever comes from a bad place. I think it comes from a place of really just wanting to get to truth and wanting to get to what is, I don't know, because it's not black and white a lot of the times. There can be a lot of disagreements where sometimes you might not find common ground, but for the most part, I think we just come from a place of trying to understand. And if that means kind of challenging their viewpoints as well, then we'll do that.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain guest we had where it was I think it was a very playful, and I don't think we've ever had a very confrontational podcast at all by any means, but it's for sure like a a good dialogue where we'll go back and forth for sure. And I think you have to. I think that's like your due diligence as someone who's in this space, um, to do that, and having different people from all walks of life so that it's not just the same viewpoints all the time. We can have someone like, for example, Alex Majestic, who has his own podcast, which I love. Alex Majestic,
He's
but
labeled misogynist.
yeah, so he has like he has a very strong following, but he also gets a lot of like backlash from a certain like community, right?
Yeah.
Which sometimes is warranted, and I'm sure he knows that. But
Game's game.
exactly, and he does a very good job at what he does. But the next week we'll have someone who has a completely opposite viewpoint of him. We'll have a female guest who's all about like it's just different. It's different viewpoints, and we try to just kind of hear people out and try to understand why they think the way they think.
Yeah. Moving as the podcast, as the entire platform like moves forward, are you gonna try to stay neutral, or because it is your guys' original content, do you feel you have more room to like take a stance on some of these things?
I feel like
What do you feel comfortable
eventually, man, I feel like eventually we're gonna take more of a. We're not gonna be as neutral. We're gonna start talking a little bit more. Obviously, still, still with respect to all
Yeah, for
communities
sure.
and all types of people. So we're not gonna be out there blatantly disrespecting any type of, culture, or people, or any type of background. But I do feel like we're gonna just have more things to talk about. Just kind of hit topics a little deeper, maybe, without crossing those boundaries.
Yeah.
So it's a thin line. We kind of have to tread
sure.
tread lightly and tread carefully.
Yeah, I
but
feel you. How do you guys approach your episodes? Do you like watch them as you're editing them and then kind of forget about them when they come out, or do you find yourselves like going back and watching the full conversations to like whether it's to kind of like remember the conversation, or if you're trying to get better as a host or anything like that?
Yeah. So at least for me, because I edit the podcast, so I already know, for the most part, like I watch it all day, yeah, basically the whole time, 3-4 hours of it. So I already understand what's going in there, and I basically, and he trusts me with everything, but I hold the responsibility of like leaving certain things in, cutting things out, because we're human, bros, sometimes, and we're boys. So some of the shit we say is like, we understand that it can be playful and a joke, but we're not gonna put that in just because we know that
There's an audience.
There's an audience. We have to be respectful of that. But for the most part, I think I'll watch it in its entirety while I'm editing it, and then if it's like an episode, like, because I think I get something from every episode. But for example, like for Arturo, who's a really amazing businessman. I don't know, so like there's certain episodes where I find myself going back because I get so many like just little gems, and really it's applying to my life like at this very moment. I think that's beautiful too, like that. Yeah, like sometimes you're like you hear about people watching their own shit and like thinking, oh, this shit's like fire. I don't think that. There's certain things where I'm like, damn, it's dope that we're able to like actually make this
Capture
ourselves,
it.
Yeah.
Create it.
How about you?
It's the same, bro. These conversations are so authentic, and it's dope to share these experiences with people that, for me, I catch myself going on YouTube and just, scrolling on the page and rewatching certain videos where I feel like there was just a lot of value or conversation that I truly enjoyed, because when I re-listen to them, it's like I'm reliving the moment, and all the gems, it's like they're being freshly implanted back into my head, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
For sure.
They stick better too.
Yeah.
I've caught myself quoting some of the guests just in random like little ad libs in public. No one knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I fucking go with it anyway.
Exactly. It's crazy, bro. Yeah, it's.
No, we just had a guest. Her episode will be out a little later in line with like her midnight sessions. But she was talking about how like she's her biggest fan. Like she listens to her own shit, and the way she put it was just like, damn. It makes sense. Like, you gotta be your biggest fan, otherwise, like, and she explained it in a way where like she's her first filter. If she fucks with it, then the world can receive it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I like the way she put it. It was cool.
For sure. Because usually
it made evaluating and watching yourself a lot easier to just kind of accept that, like, well, if I want to be great, I'm gonna have to like study this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. I think I can relate to that because you're ultimately your biggest critic.
Yeah.
And so when you can get past your own criticism, even though you still might have some things to say about it, it's like, all right, I think this passed my eye test and everything. Where like, okay, I'm okay with putting this out, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more you do it, like the shorter or I guess the more detail oriented you might get. Like for example, like talking about the last question, when I rewatch episodes, the main thing I'm trying to do now is like just take out all the filler words because like
In the full episode.
no, just when I'm actually talking.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Not editing, but like when I'm in the
yeah.
conversation, because I do that a lot. I say like.
Yeah, fuck yeah, we all do.
Yeah, that's our biggest one.
But you know what I've discovered is it's not always with certain guests. I feel like I do that when I'm with someone I know and in a conversation with people more my age. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So then when I talk to like someone who's a little bit older, I found like I'm just getting straight to the point and I'm not saying all those things. So I think it's just about the environment and how you kind of act with certain people. I don't know. It's crazy how it works.
Yeah, I feel you. Being in the space of vulnerability, mental health, and all that, have you guys come across like guests that you want to take on that are like very directly tied to the subject? Because you try to like pull that content out of every walk of life. But have you guys had any guests that are directly like maybe someone from NAMI, for example? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Are there any like people that you want to?
Yeah, for sure. I think like are we talking like big guests or are we
Anyone,
talking like in the
on
community?
any range.
I think there's a lot of people with like really dope stories that one day, like I don't know, have you heard of the podcast $1 Million Worth of Game? No.
Mm-mm.
So that's one of our favorite podcasts that like we kind of can relate to a lot.
Yeah.
But it's basically their names are Gilly and Wallow. But Wallow is one of them. I think he was in jail for I don't know like 20 years. I think
Crazy shit.
and he got out like in 2017 and basically like changed his entire. Well, the thing is, he had already changed his life in jail, but like when he came out, it's like he had learned so much throughout those years, and I feel like he's probably one of those inspirational people that I know, at least from like a distance, and I guess some of the things he talks about, especially being like from his demographic and the thing, because they talk to a lot of like rappers,
Okay.
and just a lot of people in the hip hop game, but they keep it so real with them. Like the thing I love about their platform is like, even though like they'll have a really talented artist, but if they see them like, cause they're young, so if they see them fucking up, they'll tell them and they'll like try to actually give them game on like, yo, like you don't have to be doing all this. Like there's so much more that is on the horizon for you,
Yeah.
and you're just like what you're doing right now can get in the way of that. So that's one person for sure. Wallow. I don't know if there's someone that comes to mind for you. No.
Yeah, it's Wallow and Gilly.
Yeah, that's definitely one.
That'd be a crazy interview.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a goal, bro. We want to have them one day.
Me and David call our big goals, like our big guests that we want to get, we call them white whales.
White whales?
Yeah,
Nice.
Moby Dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotta go get them. What do you call it? For the pod, I mean, where do you guys see this like going? Do you guys see this continuing to evolve in more of a live space? Or was this like a celebration sort of thing and you think it fits as that?
Yeah, I think.
How does this platform grow?
Yeah, I think the way, at least from my perspective, first of all, I don't think I'll do any more events as far as a live podcast this year, just because it was a lot, bro.
Ass kicker.
It was a lot, and
Yeah.
not to say I didn't enjoy it, because I loved it, and
Yeah.
I loved everything about it as far as the energy, the people that came out. But I think if there's opportunities to, like we always talk about, bring bigger guests so that we can just introduce the city of El Paso to, because we're very in tune with the podcast game. And I think there's a lot of great...
Locally or like all around the world?
Locally, but I would say like just all around the world, all around like the U.S. and stuff. We're very in tune with the podcast game, and there's a lot of people that we'd love to interview. So if we can kind of like build our name up maybe through just the regular episodes and at some point just bring a bigger guest. I mean, we still like doing the local people as well. I think it's just a matter of having the time, the resources, because it's not cheap, bro. That's one thing that we figured out really quick. That was probably one of the most stressful things was the financial aspect of it, whether we were gonna break even, whether you're gonna lose money. At one point, we weren't even worried. I know I wasn't too worried about making something because I just wanted to make sure like everybody got paid out.
Yeah.
And that's where he comes in though. He's like, I think in the next event we talk about like he's gonna handle a lot more of the finances because first of all, I'm terrible, bro. Like I am absolutely terrible at negotiating because like I think I'm a people pleaser at heart, bro. So like it's hard for me to be really like firm with a lot of things. Like don't get me wrong, I'm gonna stand my ground when I have to, but for the most part, I think he's much better at just handling those type of things. So
like talking prices, maybe
prices, getting people to pay us, paying people out. That shit just adds. Not to say it's not stressful for you, but for like all the editing and shit.
It's just too much for one person to do everything.
Yeah. So, but I would say more than anything right now, bro, I think we just really want to be consistent on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcast, because I think that's where it's gonna pay the most like dividends. You know, I think doing that and just staying consistent with that, even though sometimes, like for example, after the event, we hit a wall, man. Like I know I did for the 2 weeks after. Like I said, I love the podcast, but it was a lot of resistance towards it for those 2 weeks for some reason. I think it might have been just burnout. Now I'm feeling a lot more like myself. I'm feeling a lot more excited about it, but it's just those times you have to navigate. Doing it when you don't really want to do it sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
So I just think it's just being more consistent, really just putting our heads down, and really just trying to continue to do what has got us to this point, you know. And stay true, stay authentic.
Yeah. Intermissions are good. We took like a 2-month break pretty much after our shit.
Yeah. And you look good. Like you look very like
chilling
at ease, bro. You're
Yeah.
chilling.
Facts.
You know?
Yeah, we need that shit. You need to just relax.
We do.
I was burnt out like crazy after the shows. We like after the main one happened, like 2 weeks later we had to get ready for a whole other one. Whole different crowd, whole different demographic.
Oh yeah, I remember that, yes.
It was a challenge, but after that, it was like extra burnout, bro. I was like, I hate MF. Like, fuck this shit, dog. Like, straight up.
Yeah.
But,
and did you consciously tell yourself, like, all right, let's just take it easy for a little bit? Or was it like...
Yeah, not even consciously. Like, I clearly saw a way for us to fit it into, like, the branding and like, the flow of the seasons. So I was just like, oh, this is, like, a perfect cutoff point for the pod, like, as like, a season. And then we could just chill for a bit and then come back hard with like a special episode.
Yeah.
Like we got a special one coming up, midnight sessions wise.
Yeah.
The podcast kind of just seamlessly kicks back up.
Yeah.
And that's how I want that to be.
Does that give you, because I know for me, because I think it's necessary, like, I think it's amazing that you guys took that like little like sabbatical, if you will, you know?
Yeah, a bit.
But for me, I'm like, dude, if I don't upload in like,
at
least 2 weeks, I'm like, we're fucked.
Too,
like, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
We're not doing our shit. Like, we're not being consistent. And it sucks to be kind of like beholden to that, you know.
Yeah, it's tough. This part, I don't know. I feel like what I try my best to do is just always have like different creative projects going on, so that even when we're in intermission here, I'm working on something over here.
Yeah.
So after we started our intermission, did I work on anything? Nah, but I do want to say I agree. Those feelings like wash over me like crazy. Like I'm just like, fuck, dude, everyone's getting ahead now. And then if I don't post, I start to get competitive and shit. And I'm like, I gotta chill. Like I'm on my own pace anyway. I told David, I told the squad, we're on like a perfectly timed intermission. Like there's no reason to stress out. We'll come back when we want to come back. And we'll make sure that we do things right and chill. And like, so yeah, I agree. Because, like, and now that I think about it, I'm constantly having these conversations with myself, like, day to day, just like, nah, just relax. Like, you're good.
Yeah. What would you say is the dynamic with you and your team as far as like just how you guys play off of one another and how you guys help each other?
I don't know. I mean, truthfully, I feel like it's really cool. I mean, a lot of this vision began with just what I wanted MF to be, and I've built a team. David and I have built a team just like around like that are just like cool ass motherfuckers. Like I don't really think um when we're doing a midnight sessions, it feels like we're all like a family just kind of getting a project done at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And the dynamic just kind of feels like we're all working together. I've had a couple of people like as outsiders who don't really go to every episode that drop in for one, and they'll say, "Dude, it's kind of crazy how like you have everybody productive there, like in the room."
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to some dude the whole time, and then out of nowhere, you just called him up, and he was ready to just do whatever you needed him to do, and it looked like he was good at it
Yeah.
or whatever. So I was just like, yeah, I mean, the team's kind of in sync. Like everyone you see here is here like for every episode, and so I think the dynamic's cool because we're not looking to like. At some point when we have like the budget and all that to consider new positions, we'll get there. But it's like every episode's the same group of people, so everyone has like the same routine and everyone's like locked in on the mission.
Yeah.
And right now, I just got a new position with an up and coming dispensary, and they they like they're like in their mom and pop flow at the moment, and it's cool because I'm seeing it, but I'm also seeing people that are there also getting getting their jobs there, and I've seen a couple people like come and go. They're already gone at this point, but they didn't look like they were built for like no mom and pop shit, no
Yeah.
upstarter shit. Like they were probably used to like direct deposit hitting or whatever the fuck. But like by being this helped me recognize the value of MF because like our team, bro, like some of us take stupid pay cuts and some of us are just like here for the mission.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the team's worked out for so long, so consistently, because we understand that when it starts to hit, we're all gonna be good.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we're all just doing this kind of like for the love of the
Yeah.
mission, knowing that what we're doing is different. And I mean that's another thing I'm trying to like always remind myself, like El Paso's kind of like slow migration on shit, and so this shit's a little different. It ain't a fucking rave every Saturday. It ain't the same fucking DJs every Saturday, you know?
Yeah.
It ain't all that shit. So obviously people aren't in tune with it immediately. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's
I'm more patient now than I was when we talked about it.
Yeah.
I felt like very chip on my shoulder, and you know why? You asked me about it because there wasn't enough ticket sales happening and shit. And I was starting to lose faith in my community a bit.
Yeah.
But towards the show day and at the show day, it was like, oh, okay, cool. There's heads in here.
It happens, bro.
You know?
That fucking. I mean, I know we were like for a little bit. I tried to not get into that mindset, but it happens, bro. We were like, damn, bro, like $25, bro. You get a drink, bro. It's just not bad, bro.
With the way drinks are,
Oh my god, bro.
yeah.
But we understand,
Dude,
like
a drink is $10, bro. We were freaking
yeah, exactly.
$25 tickets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's beautiful though. Like you mention it, and you almost forget that we're literally doing this shit for almost free for the free ski, bro. Like
Essentially.
41 episodes in. I know you've been doing this shit for like 5-6 years, bro.
Yeah.
And really for the if not nothing, like very little monetary value, you know.
Yeah.
And
Oh no. Absolutely
yeah,
negative.
okay, yeah.
Absolutely
'Cause
negative.
I don't know if
value.
your YouTube, like, I'm sure your YouTube gets like a little bit of
Hell no. Hell no. We talked about COVID in all these episodes, so it probably got demonetized.
Yeah.
Copyright and all them shits for the music.
Yeah, bro. But it's just it's crazy when you think about it like that. Like we're literally doing this shit because we believe in it.
Yeah.
And we want to continue to be consistent with it, and we see a vision. And it's like it doesn't like obviously it would be nice to eventually start getting something back from it, you know, just because
Yeah.
it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of hours, a lot of sweat,
Hell yeah.
a lot of tears, bro. And yeah, I mean that's the goal eventually, but just to remind yourself, like I'm really doing this shit just because we love it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On personal levels, do you guys want this to be something that becomes profitable, and is this something that you want to like become your primary income, or do you guys kind of already have like steady career paths that you will always kind of see as your primary one?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
we trying to quit our jobs, bro.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, cool. Straight up then. Yeah,
We're trying to quit our jobs.
How do you
bro.
see this being profitable? Like, is it through sponsorships? Is it through by doing more events? Maybe not with like a live podcast, but by just hosting events that recognize the topic. Like, where does profit come in when you guys have these discussions, these back and forths?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different avenues that we can use.
Yeah,
I think the main one would be really capitalizing like on our brand, which is like merch. I think that's a big one. We've had people ask like, "Oh, when's the merch dropping?" And it's gonna drop very soon. By the way, we need to get on that shit.
Very soon.
Because we already have like design. We already have a lot of stuff in place, but that's
Nice.
one thing. I think sponsorships, especially for podcast space, is a big one.
What route do you guys want to go? Is it you guys are on YouTube often? You guys know how the world works. Is it like a Manscaped sponsorship, or is it something that like a local or like regional like brand comes and talks to you personally?
I mean, I'm really open to a lot of it, but we talk about it all the time. I really want it to be very specific to our brand and who we are.
Yeah.
I don't want to just have like fucking funeral services like asking
Like
for
Some
purchase.
random, some random
Purchase.
plug.
Is that what it's called? Purchase?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking cremation services and whatnot. No, we want to keep it very specific to wellness, mental health. Like
Yeah.
I know, just an example. There's like a mushroom drink I really fucking love. I think it's like there's a couple different ones. There's
What's the one you got? What's it called?
fuck. I think it's oh my god. It's Rise.
Okay.
It's called Rise Superfood. It's like a little mushroom like coffee type thing.
Yeah.
Shit like that, bro. Gym things, supplements, just things that
Wellness.
are overall just contributing to our overall mental health and physical health.
Yeah.
Events is a big one too. I think we can eventually get to a place where we are profiting from the events, and not so much so we can go fucking like fuck that shit off at
Yeah, yeah.
like Malolam and later and shit.
Yeah.
But so we can throw more events and really just push stuff back into the business
Yeah,
so that
grow
it can continues
strategically.
to grow, you know?
Like actually have a plan.
And maybe go out here and there, but I mean,
I mean, essentially,
yeah.
dude, it's
Fruit of your
like
labors.
revenue that's like also like limiting us so much because I mean you can only do so much, right?
Yeah.
I mean even our studio space, like travel. I mean, you know, if we were in different cities, we'd probably get access to just way different guests, probably network with bigger people and
Yeah,
everything.
definitely.
So
that's a big
I
one.
mean, it starts with revenue, bro. It's getting to create different opportunities to expand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You guys ever have the conversation of like, what if we just can land some interviews, but we can't fly them out? Are we gonna start doing some like Zoom calls from the studio and shit? No, yeah. I mean, we've had that. I've had that conversation at least for sure with myself. Like,
Yeah.
yo, what if I land someone that's fucking
Yeah,
dope,
really
but
big.
he ain't gonna fly over here? She
Yeah,
ain't gonna fly
right.
over here.
I think we talk about all the time, like at least from my perspective. I don't know. James can answer this also, but I could be wrong about it, but I feel like we can do our due diligence here in El Paso, and really, and I think we have a lot of amazing guests, especially that live here,
Yeah.
that pop in and out. At least for the next year, really do our thing here.
Yeah. You got the region here.
Hit the people here that we want to interview, really want to connect with. I think eventually we both want to venture out. We want to move eventually.
Yeah. Are you guys locked in? Does it happen to be the same city?
We don't mind like I know I love a few different places that he's not too fond of, or not that he's not too fond of, but he has other preferences. But I think we can definitely hit a place where that we both love and that we see a lot of opportunity in. But I just see that as like not so definitely for the podcast itself, but more so because we just want to experience something new, man. Like I know we've both lived elsewhere in our lives and we both love El Paso, but at the same time, there's just certain experiences you get when you're living in another city, certain people that you can meet. I mean, with social media, you can be connected to everyone, but it's just different being in another city, you know. Would you agree with that? Would you say?
yeah, I agree. We kind of play this tug of war thing, you know, where we like throw out some cities where we want to be at, and I mean we have a lot of common ground, so you know I don't think that's gonna be a big issue in the future at all. Like even he throws out New York a lot. He loves New York, right? And
Damn.
yeah, but like looking short term, it's like, you know, this is what I tell him all the time. It's like, dude, New York is not in our budget. Like we're gonna be living in a freaking little dorm setting.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like I said, like right now, revenue and money is like
Yeah.
the biggest thing right now that we're trying to address and figure out. So
Yeah. And the way I see it, like I've been thinking about it, you do like we do. I'm sure you can relate. You get the guests like you really want to have on, especially because networks like it works like that. Let's just say we're moved to another city. Let's just say hypothetically we hit like all the people we want to hit in El Paso, which there's so many, but we end up moving. Even though if we don't know anybody specifically in that city, you have one guest on that you have a mutual connection with. Someone that they follow is gonna see that eventually. Like you're just gonna move your way to who you want to get to. It's just gonna take time. But I mean that's a network, bro. It's gonna happen if you continuously go and do it and record and put stuff out. You're eventually gonna hit the people you want to hit. It's gonna take time, you know.
It's crazy how it just boils down to just doing it, huh?
Yeah, literally.
While you guys are working on your own, you guys have your jobs, your work. I know that the goal is to move away from it, but while it's there and while it exists, are you guys actively trying to like use MVP to your advantage in those areas too? Like, do you see this platform tying into your other work?
For sure, 100%. Like, so I basically work full time at Neep Collective, which is my family spot. Shout out to Javi and Joe.
That's for I can easily see how those are tied.
Yeah,
a lot of
sure.
the time.
So, like, for example, I like unnecessarily like got into like a promoting slash. I mean, for sure the marketing aspect because I make videos and stuff, but just with the network we've been able to build, we just naturally bring a lot of people that we've met through the MVP and through those connections to events at Neep Collective that they come and vibe with us. So I feel like both Neep and myself have both mutually like benefited from the podcast, you know?
Yeah.
And I would say definitely I think just using that to advantage. I feel like, I mean, obviously we had the event there, so I mean, that goes hand in hand. But really just, I mean, at Neep, bro, there's tons of people. I feel like through that, I've also been able to meet a lot of other business owners. Just because being so, I guess just being so early on with my brother in the process of opening the business. Like I feel like I'll have a lot of say into what they consider into implementing into Neep.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's provided me with a great opportunity to meet a lot of really amazing people, and I'm sure he can relate to his job as well, you know. And Dodge.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm new to Dodge, man. I'm new to car sales. So I haven't really, used the full benefit, or even utilized the platform really. But I mean, I've recently just dropped a couple videos. Try to just utilize my platform, the people that I've had the pleasure of meeting and connecting with, and I mean, yeah, man, I'm selling cars now, so it's a new dynamic for me, figuring it out, and one of the biggest things nowadays is everything social media. So I mean, that's how I'm trying to market myself, and so obviously part of our platform is tied into that as well.
Yeah, the way you guys are just having to like create content on both sides of the spectrum.
How about you?
With the pod?
With your job, because you also do you build websites and stuff, and you have a lot of. I feel like you have like your fingers in a lot of different things, So does that help you in your job as well?
Yeah, just last week. I mean, hopefully everything works out and I'm able to get the projects. But the guest that I had was talking to me about needing that, letting me know that she needed a couple websites done. And that happens because.
So you know how to code?
No.
I was gonna say what kind of websites do you build, or what do you mean?
Custom websites. It's as if I'm coding, but I'm able to do it all visually. Yeah. So it's as if I'm using like a Squarespace sort of like vibe, but I'm not bounded to like a template. Have you ever used any of those platforms?
Yeah, and I'm terrible.
It's because you're working on a template. So never mind. I'm not even gonna talk as if I know what the problems are, but a lot of the time. You come across so many points where you're trying to do something that the template isn't built to do. So you start having your problems and stuff like that. Webflow is cool because it's like a blank canvas. There's a learning curve for sure. Squarespace, Shopify, those spots I think are like built for people who just need to get the site done themselves.
For sure.
So Webflow is a little bit more custom. The learning curve's a little bit more. There's more you have to kind of understand certain things like margins and padding and alignment, stuff like that. But it allows me to design as if I'm like on a Photoshop sort of software without ever needing to learn fucking code. I don't even worry about any of that shit. Programmers are fucked.
Yeah.
Dude, for real.
100%. Do you feel like podcasters or like content creators are fucked?
I mean, only in the
AI?
sense that like, nah. I think one of our guests, Gabe Esparza, who is the one that ties to this guest, is crazy lineage. But like, yeah, absolutely, the podcast has helped in that sense, and it's made me more sociable. Honestly, like people recognize me now as like a decent enough host.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to stay humble because I've heard them say good and better words.
Ah,
So,
for sure, bro. You're killing it.
so that gives me a little bit more confidence to make me feel like I converse well, I conversate well. So like yeah, it's had its effects and it's like bled into like my work too. The job that I got, there's already like an understanding that I'm working here now, but at the same time I got some really cool shit going on outside, and there's opportunities for us to like grow together maybe. So yeah, it's definitely helped. But as far as what were you about to ask with the websites?
Oh, just like how it's helped you in those aspects. But I think
Yeah.
you touched on it.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
But Webflow, I use Webflow for the websites.
Yeah, I've tried WordPress, but yeah, I would never fucking made it out the.
I mean, it's the standard. Like
Yeah.
most people have like their site on WordPress
Yeah.
because it's just like the one that's been around for like ever. It's like having it's like not wanting to use Zal even though it's like so much more convenient. You know what I mean?
Who's been your This is a very controversial question. Who's been like, I don't want to say your favorite guest, maybe your most memorable one.
I don't know. Maybe like maybe A Billy Free because it's not a spoiler or anything because it's obviously there, but like we'll have another episode with her, but paired up with another guest this time around. And she's just interesting to me, and it was memorable because the conversation, I felt like I got a lot of good answers about some stories of hers.
Yeah.
But also just I feel like that episode was one of the parts that I feel like after everything finishes, after the live show finishes, after that pod finishes and everything like that, I feel like I have like a much closer friend out of that. You know what I mean? So like there's a lot of like after residual effects where we're really like a lot cooler with each other now. Yeah. And I thought that was cool. Not to say that hasn't happened with other guests, but I describe A Billy as like one of the most inspiring people that I personally know.
Yeah.
You know, she does a lot of community work with her music, and I think it's cool how like you're able to take hip hop and kind of like make an impact such as the way she has.
Sure.
In like third world, other countries, shit like that. She's gone to like crazy missions.
Yeah.
So
Is there one that you felt like you were just getting the most like knowledge and game from, where you're like you just watched and you're like, dude, there's so many gems in here, bruh.
Moy's was pretty good.
Yeah.
Moy had a good one, but I feel like also Gabe Esparza, and it hasn't also released yet, but like Vanessa's, they just drop a couple gems that like I feel like I needed to hear in that moment. Gabe was talking about like still being able to learn from like younger cats. And I was just like, that's cool, man, because sometimes I feel like I'll close like the door on that shit, like they're just following, or they're just like they got this weird ass shit going on that I can't get down with, and I sound like an old head doing that. I'm like, I'm not even 30 yet, bro. Like what? I'm unk now, you know what I mean? But with Vanessa, she dropped a lot of stuff about like rebirth and like kind of like going through life in cycles and understanding that like versions of you like die, and like you come back a new person, you know. And I thought that was really cool. One, because I'm a big fan. Yeah. So it was cool to hear like somebody that I'm like a fan of like telling me this like face to face. But two, also because during that time I was going through like a lot of like crossroads, and I was like, shit, like this is really good timing for me to be hearing this. You know, because this person is really successful in music, and I feel like that can only be because they're really finding ways to connect with their audience on a deeper level. Something of their music and their creation and their effort is like tapping into their audience, and more people are gravitating towards it. So like for them to say it, it must mean something, you know?
Yeah, I never, because I haven't been to the most like concerts, live performances and stuff. But the more I realize, the more I've been, it's a really like, that's an art in itself. Because like when we had our live performances at NEEP, we were just talking about how the artists were just able to connect with the crowd, and I think just the overall branding of the event, like from the heart, I feel like they really like took it and ran with it because they were just so vulnerable on stage. Like
That's good.
they weren't just singing their songs; they were talking to the audience.
Yeah.
They were saying like, "Yo, like I've been through this and that, and like I want to apologize." Like it was just so many things that they were talking about, and they were legit connecting with them. And then as hosts, we would just look at the audience,
Yeah.
and we're just like, damn, like there's people are really connecting with it. And I think that was like the most beautiful thing.
Dude, I don't know if y'all have ever seen or I mean, or even been to. I mean, I don't know, but a DMX concert, dude. Like DMX, bro. That dude knows how to connect with his crowd, bro. And like, yeah, like essentially DMX was the one that taught me like there's like a whole different experience to like an artist performing, and a lot of it is like, yeah, it's like a spiritual experience, dude. Sometimes, I mean, like they literally connect with the crowd and are like putting them at this high, then making them feel sad, and then like just everywhere, man. And it's like they're tapping into all of these emotions, and that's a pretty like beautiful thing that artists can do.
Yeah.
When'd you see DMX?
I haven't seen DMX, but I've seen like live performances like on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then one of my trainers, Eddie, is like a huge fan of him, so he's like walked me through his concerts and stuff. So
Amazing.
That shit's tough, man. Honestly, like you get on stage and you're either gonna naturally just dive into your performance, or you have to go through the growing pains of like, damn, am I being too proper on stage? Am I like being a square right now because I'm too focused on like not offending or like not coming off? You know what I mean? It's just like a crazy tiptoe, and it's
like being hard on yourself, essentially.
hell yeah, like you said, we were talking about right now, being your biggest critic.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, but it's also the same of just like having a conversation. Like honestly, I would assume that like performing on stage is easier than having a live podcast on stage. Because I was thinking about it, I was just like, fuck, like they're probably just thinking in their heads like, damn, how interesting of a conversation do we have to have to like keep a live audience on point.
Dude,
like performance,
literally.
it's like there's music, people feel more inclined to like support and clap when the song's over, you know what I mean? But like a conversation, it's like, holy shit, there's no music going on, you know what I mean? There's less ambiance like to add into your words, so there's
Dude,
more
it's just
focus
your voice,
on it.
dude.
That's crazy, bro. Yeah, performance is tough, man. Live performance in any form.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like an artist, I mean, because it's the same shit, dude. Like you walk up there and like, dude, all these eyes are on you.
Yeah.
And it's just your song, and I mean, you don't know what kind of reaction you're gonna get, dude. You don't know if people are gonna, start freaking getting lit or raging, or if they're just gonna sit there and stare at you, dude. Like,
Yeah, dude. Absolutely, man. For the podcast, like as you guys have started and like come across, and have like grown, evolved, do you guys think that probably not? I feel like you guys are pretty like cool ass motherfuckers, you know what I mean? I don't think you guys have a lot of like haters or some shit, but do you guys think that there's misconceptions that you guys have received or seen drifting around, either about podcasts or about what you guys are directly doing?
That's a great question. I feel like I don't think we've directly gotten like blatant like this podcast is trash, or like you guys talk about bullshit, or like you guys don't know. I mean, there's been a couple times where like I'll just get like a request DM where it's like you say like all the time, and like just like you should read some more books, dog. Like shit like that. That was
wasn't even a DM. That was a comment, bro. He put it right on our post.
Yeah.
He put it right on our post.
No, then he DM'd me after that, shit, bro. He went out
delete
of
a comment like that, or what do you do?
That what?
You delete a comment like that, or what do you do?
I just I let it be, and then I let all my boys just like go.
Yeah, I'm the petty guy that's probably gonna say some shit like.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the petty guy, you said?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So like, besides that, I think there's always gonna be like low key like people that maybe not. I don't want to say envious, but like just that low key have some like they wouldn't mind if you.
They'd much rather critique what we're doing than be supporters.
Yeah, exactly. Which I mean,
but it takes more energy too, huh?
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm one of the biggest haters I know, so I'm not even gonna go too far.
Yeah.
But like, it takes a lot of energy, dude.
No, for sure.
Straight up.
Like I'm exhausted.
Yeah, like goddamn, I want to go take a nap now, and you forget and you don't do what the fuck you're supposed to do because you're too busy hating.
Yeah, too busy hating.
For sure. I think for the most part, I think we've gotten a lot of great support. I think the more we become comfortable on the mic and just talking and having certain stances, I think that's when a lot more maybe just resistance and just kind of criticism will come in. But for the most part, I think people have been very receptive of what we're doing.
Yeah.
But it's gonna come. It's for sure. I think it's gonna
inevitable.
come full force.
As soon as this pod makes it out of El Paso, it's gonna fucking hit.
Yeah, for sure. I think David and I said one time we got like our first dislike on one of the sessions, and we're like, it's real now.
Yeah,
I guess for
it's
real.
like almost
the
celebrate
hate,
it.
no, dude, you don't
Yeah,
know it's
yeah,
you don't
you're,
know
like,
it's
hyped
going
about it.
somewhere, bro. Till like you get that first hate, you know. It's
Yeah,
like,
that means it's been.
it's like,
across
okay,
enough
we're
people's
doing
eyes.
something.
Yeah,
you know?
it's not
like,
just in your friends' eyes now.
yeah.
Or like he'll talk about it too. Like I haven't gotten it so much, but I feel like you've gotten a little bit more about, oh, like you guys talk about the same things, or you should talk about this. Like they'll have their little like opinions, and I feel like me personally, I take shit kind of personal a lot of the time. So sometimes I don't have the best reaction, but I try to really take that into consideration. But then a lot of times I tell them like, dude, like we're the ones doing it. Like we're the ones putting ourselves out there. We're the ones doing our research. We're the ones that are really being vulnerable enough to even put this out to people.
Yeah.
So we just got to do our thing. Like people are gonna think what they think, and they don't have to listen, but there's gonna be other people that do, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think another thing is I think we're very. I don't think we're cocky by any means, but I think we're very comfortable with who we are, and so I think inevitably we'll always somehow just get like flack for that, you know. But I think anybody that truly knows us, I think we're very down to earth. I think we're very caring. We're very loving people.
Yeah.
And I think people can see that, you know.
At the end of the day, dude, like we're really easy to talk to. So like I feel like if anybody has like bad things to say about us or say like we carry ourselves in a cocky manner, like simply put, they haven't like spoken to us ever.
Yeah, it's
like,
coming
literally
from an
just like
outsider
that.
view.
Yeah.
I feel
And
that.
I'll talk to anybody, bro. I'll talk to anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. Like we always talk about it. That I think that's one thing that has helped us a lot is that we can literally we can strike a conversation with the owner of the business, or the dishwasher, or the plug, or the athlete. Like just I think that's a gift in itself to be able just to relate and just be able to talk to people from all walks of life. You know.
Yeah. Yo, this might be a silly question, but like being the most vulnerable player, do you guys feel like you sometimes have to overcome any times where you might feel like you're not comfortable with being vulnerable? Because like I'm sure there's times where that happens.
Oh, for
right?
sure, yeah.
Definitely.
Like do you guys ever feel like the brand sometimes forces you to stay always like comfortable in your discomfort?
I think for sure that's a thing. I think
And also, have you felt like your awareness on the subject has to be like more high because of like the audience and like the brand that you're building?
yeah. I think for sure we have to because there's still certain things I share on the podcast where I'm like, ooh, like I don't know if
I'm gonna cut that.
yeah, I'm gonna cut that, or like I don't know how I feel about me saying that. But that's something that we have to consider, bro, because it's literally in our name, and that's what we're pushing, and that's what we believe in.
Can you pinpoint one of the things that you've said in the history of the pod that like you weren't comfortable with at first, but you still put it out?
I think it's still anytime I talk about the panic attacks, like panic attacks in general. I've talked about medication before. That one is
Touchy.
always tough. And I mean, I just said it right now, and I don't mind because like I've talked about it already on the podcast. That one I'm always like, that one's tough for me to kind of say. But I just know I always remind myself like I know there's so many people that are going through the same things.
Yeah.
That I would say that one in particular I've thought about. I was like, ooh, I don't know if I should want to talk about that, but it's part of my life, you know.
Yeah, I feel you.
That's the one in particular where I'm just like, ugh. But other than that, I think we're pretty open book. Of course, there's certain things we're not gonna share. Like if someone asks us, maybe we would, but yeah, I think for the most part we try. Like last podcast, we talked about crying.
Dude.
Yeah.
You got pretty damn vulnerable last podcast.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna bring up too. is like that was probably one of the most uncomfortable pods we've had. Like I've personally like had in a while.
Yeah, for sure. But it was
I mean,
a great podcast.
he surprised me. He was getting like super vulnerable too, dude. I mean, and we're just like discovering new levels of ourselves and how we can like how comfortable we've grown with the podcast. You know?
Yeah.
Pretty soon we're just gonna take our clothes off. 'Cause that's like just how vulnerable we gotta. I'm just kidding.
It's like fucking nude pod today, guys. Let's just be completely vulnerable.
Yeah,
with
we
each
just have
other.
to fucking go off today
How can we take this
to
further?
the next level, bruh.
Yo,
Like true vulnerability, get naked.
right now, you were saying that if you were to have a sponsor, it'd be like maybe a product or an organization that you also believe in and you feel like represents the brand well. Kind of like leaning towards the products, but then also using that to jump over to like wellness. Most vulnerable player, I don't know, your vlogs and the way you kind of like handle your day, where you show the breakfast that you had or the workout that you're getting done, that happens before the podcast anyway, right? But has the pod, because I feel like wellness, no, hell yeah, they're like completely directed. They're completely like related. Do you guys feel like you guys have picked up new habits because of the pod that like is geared towards wellness? Like, are you reading more, for example, like these motherfuckers tell you to do? Or are you guys journaling or like keeping track of your schedules more? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just to be completely honest, when it comes to like doing things more like for my wellness, I've actually gotten away from it because I'm just fucking editing.
Okay.
I'm editing and I'm like trying to push out content.
That's an honest answer. I appreciate it.
And not to say that, and in the back of my head, I'm like, I need to be doing these things, and I could make time, but it's just, I'm in a place right now where I'm not as I think I'm a very disciplined person, but I want to be more disciplined when it comes to doing that. But I think especially when it's so early on, like, you're just constantly having to be on your computer and you're on your phone posting. And let's be honest, you're looking at the engagement, like your mind is just elsewhere. And then you're just always thinking about who's going to be the next guest. Where can we take this? How can we continuously like grow it?
You almost don't even get to soak in the episode, huh?
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
tired of it by the time you finish editing it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So,
not in a bad way, but
yeah. But I think at least for me, I'm sure you can relate as well. Like we find a lot of, I guess, obviously like just fulfillment and happiness and just get, what's the word? I guess just overall wellness from other things where it's like, yes, we might not be doing all the things that we want to do as far as like the reading, the journaling, the things that we know we got to do, but it's for a reason, you know. We're doing something that we love and we want to grow it and we want to see it get to a certain point. So it's just, I think it's just a give and take, you know. How about you?
Yeah, it's a balance, dude, and it's been a struggle trying to find that balance to record the episodes and, you know, maintain a career and maintain our mental health and but essentially, I mean, we find, like he said, fulfillment in like the small things. I mean, going to the gym sometimes with this guy is my mental health day, you know. Or my mental health, you know, those few hours just do a lot for me mentally, dude. Or just like today, I had a long day at work, dude. This is like my little mental health session right here, dude. We just come on here and talk with some of the homies, and it's a cool conversation. And it's like just fucking weight's been lifted off my shoulders, and I already feel better. And now I get to go home feeling better. So it's like the little things like that right now it means a lot to us, and it fulfills us, and it's what's keeping us going, you know?
Yeah. So like the biggest focus right now would probably be not a focus, but the biggest the section of health that's kind of thriving the most might be like emotional health at the moment. Nah, I mean physical health. Not to say it's not like you guys still go to the fucking gym.
Yeah.
And all shit. Have you missed Run For It runs because you had to edit some shit?
Oh, for sure. More so because I'm at NEEP.
Ah,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
More so at NEEP. I definitely missed a Run For It's last. I was able to make it out this Sunday
The Scenic?
at 7:45, but I went out. I went to work at 9, and I literally right after I just went to work. You know, the only reason I made it is because that one was a little earlier.
Yeah.
So it works out. But we always find time to go to the gym because I think that's a non-negotiable. At
There
this
you go.
point.
Yeah. That's thank you.
That's big for us.
Yeah,
I didn't ask it, but that's a good.
yeah,
Thank you.
that's a non-negotiable. As far as like I think we try to eat healthy as best as possible. Sometimes when you're editing, you're just stressed out, you're gonna fuck off with your diet. But for
Hell
the
yeah.
most part, we try to keep a really healthy diet. The
Glad
reading,
you tried. Well, you have a partnership, right?
yeah. So the Macro Lab,
That's good.
love them. I was actually I had been buying their meals for a while now, but I reached out because I actually got inspired by one of our great friends, Victor Santillan, who's a very he's an up and coming fighter and he's badass. He has a fight coming up in July at Speaking Rock, but he told me, he's like, dude, I reached out and I said like, hey, this is what I do. It would be greatly beneficial and I would greatly appreciate like if I love your product if you would sponsor me. He reached out to all the people that he currently works with, and right after that pod, I was like, I'm gonna reach out. Like I do content, even if they don't do like want to use like my personal brand.
Yeah.
I edit videos. Like I'm sure we can find some sort of like mutual like just mutual positives, you know.
Yeah.
So doing that, and we really want to do more of that too. I feel like there's so many dope brands we want to work with, and that also comes with just doing more lifestyle stuff. So like for example, we're gonna release a vlog this week that we recorded last
Yeah,
week.
you guys talking about that, huh?
Yeah, so
Or I saw you drop it on the stories.
yeah, so the MVP vlogs, that's just more so. First of all, it's really fun. I love editing those. It gives us a chance to just kind of hang out with each other. Just
Is it kind of a bitch to film it though? Like, how often do you guys like? How much of it is just like one take shit, and then how much of it is like, oh, hold on, this is one of those shots that
actually, I think because I've done it so much, bro. Like I've done
you got it down.
at least 100, more than 100 vlogs
Yeah.
over the time I've been editing. So
You got
yeah,
it
it's just
down.
kind of second nature, bro. And
Got you,
we're
got
we're
you.
very we've become very comfortable on camera, so a lot of this shit is very candid, and that's what our brand is. Though I think I don't know if like sometimes you notice on the podcast, sometimes we don't intro until 5 minutes in,
Yeah.
just because
Yeah.
we already have a conversation going, and I like to put that in just because it's very raw. It's very just natural, and I think that's what we try to do all the time, you know,
Yeah.
especially with the vlog. So stay tuned for a lot more like just day in the life stuff. I think we really want to show more of our day-to-day life, our personalities, because I feel like with that breeds a lot more just opportunities for like sponsorships on our personal brands and just things like that, because people will get to know more of who we are, you know.
Yeah. Dang. The MVPs. Yo, so I want to start some of the episodes aren't gonna have them, but I definitely want to like get into the habit of asking people similar like routine questions.
Yeah.
We were talking about wellness right now, but I think we can step a little bit to the left or to the right, whichever side it's on, and just kind of get into a little bit of technical talk.
Okay.
When you guys get into your phones, your laptops, your phone first. What does like your guys' home screen look like? Are you the types that like organize your apps and have them laid out with widgets and shit properly placed, or are you guys sloppy as fuck?
All over the place. Bro.
Yeah, dude.
I can't even find my apps
How
sometimes.
do the folders look for the MVP episodes, man? All the footage. The
Oh, as
sound,
far as like my
everything.
files.
No, yeah, everything. Like,
Oh, okay.
is the phone and the computer the same?
As far as like my apps and stuff, I think my apps are kind of all over the place. But like for
Pages?
example, yeah, pages. My footage is it's pretty well organized. Like
Yeah.
I'll have like my extreme SanDisk, like 4 terabytes.
Extreme SSD, dog. Let's
Dude,
go.
you got it. I
Yes,
was doing
sir.
the HDDs.
Oh, that was gonna bust on you soon, man.
Those
you gotta
will
be careful.
fuck
with
you
those,
over,
bro.
bruh. Anyways, yeah, I have that. I think it's like 4 terabytes. Click on that shit. I have podcast. I think like personal brand.
Nice.
Just other shit. I have a whole Neep one to the side because I edit all
Oh,
the
nice.
content
Hell
for
yeah.
them. Click on that. I have
I'm visualizing
episode.
it.
Yeah,
Visualizing it.
I think not everything is on there right now because 40 episodes are not all.
Yeah,
gonna
you
fit in
back it
there.
up into like a.
I have like 3 hard drives that have the rest of the shit. But I have them numbered like episode 30 through 41, you know. All the footage, all the thumbnails are all kind of all in there,
Okay.
you know. So I'm somewhat organized with that.
What about you, Curry? You keep your apps organized?
Yeah, kind of.
Hell yeah,
For sure,
dude.
Like I got
Yes.
like my banking apps, then I got like all like the apps for like just certain different things, like
Fuck yeah.
social media apps here, and then utility apps here, and then
You let Apple name it for you?
some of them.
Some of
And I
them.
had to
Okay,
adjust a
okay,
few.
for
But
sure.
I like how Apple does some of it.
Yeah, I got
Like I
you.
got a finance one with all like my banking apps and stuff like that.
I assumed Apple, but I'm glad I was right.
Sure.
Are you guys Appled out?
For sure.
Adobe?
No, I use Final Cut.
Use Final Cut?
Yeah.
The paid one?
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume at this point,
Yeah,
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 it's
for
so much
sure.
editing work. You might as
So,
well.
yeah. I haven't tried Adobe. I think it'd be a great skill to learn.
That shit is
But
tough, dude.
yeah.
I
If you had to
I
edit
bought
an
Adobe,
episode,
bro.
could you edit it?
On what? On Adobe?
Either
Oh
one.
no, not Adobe. Final Cut. For
You
sure.
can knock one out?
Yeah, but Adobe is. I didn't even put the time in, dude. I mean, I saw it and I just got overwhelmed and I was like, "Fuck that."
Adobe's a monster,
I was
bro.
like, "Fuck that, dude. That shit's confusing."
I don't know how I feel about them just like kind of basing their entire new platform now all across like just AI shit. I don't know how I feel
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Adobe's all about like creation, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fence with their ads now because they're all just based around that.
Damn.
All of their like partners are like showing you how to use AI.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't
I'm
know.
gonna put you on blast. Put y'all on blast real quick. What's your screen time looking like at this point?
I'd have to
Mine's
tell you.
bad, bro. I think mine's like 5
Like
hours.
on our iPhones. Let's all look at our screen time or what?
How do I
Where we
find
at?
that out?
I mean, I was working today, dude.
How do I, about?
I think it's
It's in your settings.
Just look it
somewhere.
up.
Let me see. Yeah, settings.
screen time. Oh fuck.
What's yours at?
6 hours.
Where did you find it at? Oh, I found it.
Oh,
6 hours and 16 minutes.
Dude, I'm
I'm down 23% from
I'm at
last
9
week.
hours, dude.
damn, son.
But you know what? I was editing videos today, dude. Like for
Okay, yeah.
On
you
the
edit,
phone?
You edit on your phone.
Yeah.
right?
CapCut?
Is it VN? VN?
Nah, I haven't heard of
Nah,
it.
you haven't heard of it?
No. How do you do subtitles?
There's a app called Captions.
Yeah,
Captions?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You don't use CapCut?
No.
It's
You
like
use
it's-
CapCut?
Yeah, for the caption.
Is it free?
That's where I'll use AI
Oh,
because
okay.
it does it for me.
Yeah.
And then I just
Oh,
correct it.
yeah.
They
Ain't
have
no way.
captions on CapCut?
Yeah.
You gotta pay?
Nah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
There's a watermark at the end, but just don't forget to delete it because you can.
Ain't no way I'm gonna put subtitles manually, bro.
No, yeah, it's not.
Imagine
Also, it does it automatically too.
Yeah.
I'd want to for like a lyric video because
Yeah,
it's like it's very specific what I'm trying to do.
for sure.
CapCut's cool because it let me upload the exact font that we use for the brand.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, I'm so
Detail oriented.
yeah, it's got to be a fucking uniform font. It's got to be the same everywhere, or it's got to like have a plan behind it. I think my two foundations are rap and then graphic design.
Yeah.
Like that's where like I'm the most fucking
Yeah, you can tell, bro, and everything you guys do. And that's why I was just thinking, like, it's crazy how different brands can be, you know? Because you look in here, it's like, it's very, there's so much character in everything, like the walls, this background,
The paintings.
and then us is just more like, it's clean, but it's like, there's not much, it's like white walls and then like a gray wall. It's nice lighting, but it's like, it's so different.
It's
you know?
good lighting, dude.
Yeah.
I love the vibe in there. It's really cozy and that's probably like that's the sort of vibe that I would probably have like my dream desk set up as like
yes.
just with a lot of LEDs around, properly placed because it can be too much, so it'd be properly placed, and then like just like low dim coloring. I feel like you guys have a very dim setting.
Yeah, I think so. Where do you want to eventually move the podcast to another space?
Probably, but like this is like long term goals for MF to just eventually have like a big warehouse where we build our stages.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because that's how we consider this. We consider this a stage for genreless performance. So we would want to just have like everything just be turnkey too.
Yeah.
Like we're here at the pod. It's podcast time. The same 3 cameras are never moved. They're just already
Love
there.
that. It
And
just
then same
takes too
thing for
much
midnight.
fucking time to.
Yeah, that might mean that we own like fucking 30 cameras, but
Yeah.
that like we want to be profitable on that level where we can do that, or just like have a good enough position to get like a loan and just be smart about it. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm learning stuff as an entrepreneur like every day. Sponsorships has been big. Like working with the city has been big. So I don't know. We'll see what we learn next on the business side of things. LLC probably.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly where we're at, dude. We're fucking trying to figure all that stuff out too. I mean, in fact, dude, we had a meeting with a legit lawyer and fucking. I mean, we got so caught up, we were so busy, dude. We couldn't even make the meeting. Like,
Yeah. Damn.
that's how fucked up our time is right now, dude.
Let them know.
Yeah, no. He actually canceled on us first, so it worked out.
Oh, perfect.
And then he tried to reschedule, and I was just like, I didn't even hit him back, dude. I was like, fuck.
It's tough, but yeah, I mean, just step by step. But I mean, that's what it is as like small up and coming projects. It's hard to call us a business, so like just yet, you know what I mean? I still see us more as a project than a business. Income comes in and stuff like that, but it's not so much profit. It's just like revenue stuff that we could use for the project. But it's not like, I don't know.
It's not feeding you
I
yet.
feel like we're paving the lane ourselves. Mick Jenkins says it in a song, "Ain't no Google Maps. My brother, this road ain't been paved." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a good bar.
It is, bro.
I wanted to ask as my final question for the MVP podcast. Let's just say you guys had a blank check real quick to delegate one task, one like recurring task that you guys all have to do. What would be the first thing that you ship off? Like you could just pay someone else to do it.
Like what task it would be?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Consider everything that
I
goes
already
into
know
your
what he's gonna
project.
say.
Oh, handle the recording. I don't mind editing. Handle the recording. Just we're gonna go. I want to sit down. I already like just want to be prepared when
They
I'm gonna
popped up
ask.
the lights.
The lights are on. I don't have to worry about the cameras recording, the audio recording. Just pay someone do that, and I could edit the shit, bro. I mean, if he wants to edit it, that's cool. But like that's just one part that stresses me out the most.
Yeah. You wouldn't. I can see why you wouldn't want to let go of the editing,
Yeah.
considering you're really the director of like the vision of it.
Yeah.
I can imagine like if you were to the first time you let
Like
someone
he's
else
fucking
edit
big
this
on
shit,
that, dude.
you'll be like
He's really
hovering over
fucking
their
big on
shoulder,
that,
making
dude.
sure it's right
Oh,
that
yeah.
first
I'm
time.
low-key a micromanager, bro.
Like a bitch, dude. Like,
Here
don't
we go.
don't let me fucking edit, because if I started editing some shit, dude, I know.
What up, everybody?
I
It's
know
your
that-
boy Evan, one half of MF Pearl. This is the beginning of the episode right here.
Nah, bro. It's
He's like, oh, we just started. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, we got 2 hours left.
that's for sure what it is, bro. How about you? What would you pay someone to do?
I mean, personally, dude, I mean, it'd probably be the editing for me, dude. It's just that shit's so time consuming, bro. And for me, like, time is everything. But I mean, I was surprised you actually said the cameras. I thought you were gonna say editing.
Nah, editing I actually don't mind. It's actually a time where I actually enjoy it, especially if it was like a good podcast, you know. And I like editing the reels as well. Eventually, I think I would probably end up outsourcing the rest of that to someone else or delegating that to someone else.
For sure, bro. You have to. Because I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I see this fucker, like he's canceled on, like, plans or certain things that, you know, I've wanted him to do. And he'd be like, dude, I gotta fucking go edit and shit. I'm just like, bro, shit can wait. Or, you know, you can do it tomorrow, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking time consuming, bro.
Yeah,
So
that's a
fucking
good question.
props
How
to
about you? Thanks, bro.
Probably something that like I haven't even done yet. Specifically, get somebody to like grow our Twitter platform, because part of me feels like that's where we'll make bank. I just think that Twitter helps you get across like the world more. Instagram is more like your local audience. In a way.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, if it doesn't got to be so specific, I would just get someone who's like way better at me at growing a social media platform like that. Because we'll create the content, we'll edit the
Like a
long form
marketing
content.
team?
We'll give you the long form content. And you turn that shit into snippets and clips and
Like a
posts and
social
all that
media
shit.
manager or
But
something.
a gangster ass one, dude.
Yeah.
And then if I have a blank check, then I'll pay for a gangster ass one to go ahead and like just grow this shit. Cause like I've been talking about it. I've just been saying, if we just had a pro, someone who knew how to like just turn any type of content into a success. Now I'm not talking buying followers, buying bots, none of that shit. They just know how to like strategically.
It's not like an
push it.
algorithm and shit.
Yeah. They know how to like communicate, follow, and all that stuff. They know how to engage with the right accounts. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but I would get a pro to do that shit because like, I was thinking about it. And I was just like, dude, we can deliver them at the moment 36 episodes of sessions, like 21 episodes of podcasts. I don't know how many galleries of photos. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have all the fonts, the logos, and everything. Like, you have everything you need to succeed. And I would just think, I've seen these people probably do magic with shit shows. And, like, we don't even have a shit show. Like, we have, like, a really solid platform that has consistent rules and boundaries.
Yeah.
What could they do with something that's already so, like, far along?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was thinking that actually is, you know how sometimes YouTube recommends old videos from like 2, 3, 4 years ago? Like,
Yeah, you never know
dude,
what's going to
and
hit.
sometimes, yeah, I was going to
Never know
say,
what's
like,
gonna
dude,
hit.
what if, like, some of our old videos just start, like, fucking hitting the algorithm and shit, dude? Like,
It might be because one of your guests blows up 2 years later.
exactly.
You know, and, like, everyone's just going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at this fucking OG podcast with so-and-so.
Yeah. That
I mean,
could
you
see
just
that.
never know.
Yeah.
But that's what I would do, because like I don't think I'm the best at social media. I'm good at long form content.
Yeah.
But that's not like that doesn't translate to a social media reel.
How do you feel about like, yeah, because me and him like kind of went back and forth on this a lot of the time, like especially with the Instagram stuff and like the TikTok, because I very much just like to like when I have an idea, I just want to like make it, and then even if it's not the most like Instagrammable thing, I feel like it's badass, so I'm just gonna post it. But he was like, dude, we need to make shorter shit, like 15 seconds. You need to use this trending song. You need to use, like, we need to put a certain, like, LUT on it, you know? Just, like, things that you normally see that blow up, which in a way, I think it is, you should take advantage of it. But sometimes it's just in my heart, I'm just like, I just don't like that shit, though. Like, I don't watch that. I don't consume that, you know?
He's so big on just authentic content, right? Which like I feel like, and so for me, it's like our content is already authentic because our content is just ourselves, us being us.
Yeah.
But his form of editing is like he likes to stick to like his original authentic style of editing as well, which I love too. I mean, it's amazing, dude, and he makes fucking good shit. But I also feel like I always tell him is like sometimes we need to just try to do more trendy stuff. Like with our content, but just do more trendy things, like things that are just going viral at the time.
It's tough. I say fuck that most of the time. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
no, I mean that's where he's at, and that's kind of where I've grown.
You're not gonna see me put $1 Million Baby on no goddamn Instagram. Like, I'm not gonna do it. Like personally. But I just it's a good song. It comes out every now and then. I'm like, okay, cool, it's a good song. But like, I don't know, man. I just feel like the brand for us personally has become go against the grain. Like it's become like fuck what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
And I think it's also at the same time bitten us in the ass because we don't come off as the most approachable brand. Right. And I think a lot of that's, you know, just generally naturally I'm the face of the brand most of the time. And I don't think I'm the most approachable person. And I'm always trying to work on that. I swear to God. I swear on Jah. I'm always trying to work on that shit. But yeah, I just think it's worked out for us more than it's worked against us. And as long as I'm not over here going on no fucking crazy like outbursts or anything like that, and I'm just being who I want to be, like the intermission, like that was something that was completely against what anybody should be thinking about doing. Nope, motherfucker, you better post again 2 times tomorrow, bitch. Right. Like you better be going. Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna rest when I gotta rest. That's what stories are for, to keep people in the loop. You know what I mean? So, nah, I try to. I take so much pride, and I think now it's become to the point where it's like I'm actively looking for how can I make this more myself? How can I make this more of our own?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on that I see. I'm like, how can we make that ours? Not because I just want to bite shit sometimes, because I feel like a lot of our stuff is completely original, but I get inspired too. Like every creator has to be an inspired person. Like you got to find some gems within like whatever it is. And so I feel like I find a lot of projects that I'm inspired by, and I'm just genuinely just always being like, okay, how can we build on that? Because this already exists. So how can we make this a successful thing? Because if in El Paso especially, if there's only one of these things, it's probably going to fucking fade away soon because it's not getting the support it gets. So how can I add to it without stealing their thunder? So that way people are inclined to go to both. You know, I'm trying to balance that shit, but I do think I'm slowly mastering the art of just like staying true to what I want to do, because I trust that my audience is gonna trust me
for sure.
Literally.
You know,
I mean, dude, essentially you build your credibility. You build, you know, you're building the foundation and the brand. And
you know where I lean towards that more though with my personal music. I feel like I'm over here thinking, fuck, man, I'm always trying to just drop an album and that's it. But I know I got to put out some fucking singles, dog. Like, I got to. So, like, that's probably one of those times where I've compromised the most on, like, my art and how I fully want it to be perceived. But even then, I found a way to make it my own. Like, fuck singles and all that stuff. All right, hold on, though. What if I give them 8 singles as, like, a part of the hype for this new album, and none of the singles are on the album? That way it comes across as, like, you got a whole 8-song EP, plus a fucking album, plus the post-album rollout. Shit, boy. Like, that's just a heater rollout at that point. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like singles, because I feel like singles are the biggest culprit of creators compromising their art to please short attention spans now. I don't know, man. I just, like, 15-second videos end up resulting in so much chaos, you know? And I just feel like I can't really focus on that.
Dude, we're like addicts, dude.
I get the purpose of them. You gotta just get the, you know what I mean? Like recap videos, fucking hyped ass recap videos of like festivals and shit. But I'm like, I don't even know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't even digest any of that stuff. And so and that's how I watch my YouTube shit too. Like when I'm watching, I hardly watch TV unless it's sports. So if I'm over here watching stuff, it's like on YouTube, and I'm like, if this video ain't more than 20 minutes, I ain't watching this shit.
Yeah.
Like I need something to like just soak in, you know?
Digest.
Yeah, I don't like short form content. But even then, I'm trying to cut up reels, and I'm over here fucking cutting out breaths and and fucking repeated sentences, and I'm like, God damn, like, if we just learned how to digest content better and just more patiently, then we wouldn't have to cut out the ums, because the ums are a part of the conversation. Maybe I'm just being biased because I say too many ums and I'm trying to justify them, but whatever, you know?
Yeah, I do, dude.
So
Shit, Barack Obama was this country, you know what I'm saying? Like that was his MO, dude.
But see, you put that in a regular reel, like people scroll after that, like that pause.
That pause, and they just
Yeah, I feel like it's so essential to like how the actual like
the delivery
of everything and how it people receive it. You know,
our captions too, man. I go off on the captions. I write long ass captions, and
I've
I'm
seen
thinking
that,
no
yeah.
one's reading this shit. Like, but I mean, when they finally do and go back, they're gonna be like, oh shit, they've been writing like really long.
And then they see like the quality, dude. They see the substance. They see, you know,
Yeah,
dude, that shit takes time, effort, everything. So
yeah, I'm always thinking about the brand and everything and how we present everything. I'm trying to use less hashtags because I don't want us to look so spammy, but I'm also trying to grow. So I'm like trying to, you know what I mean? It's just it's all that shit. And what's crazy is I feel like social media is such a full-time job, bro. Honestly, like if I asked somebody to just focus on this part of us, they probably would still have more work than I have if I were to cover all the other topics.
Yeah. Most likely.
It's wild. But yeah, man, I mean, shit. MF, the MVP, it's two podcasts that I feel like, not just a podcast, but it's two platforms that I feel like after these two episodes, ours and then yours, I really think we've unlocked a lot of opportunity for us to go back to back real quick and shimmy up this wall together through podcasts. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, there's not a lot of platforms that are like focused and driven in the city, in my opinion. And that's okay, because now there's an opportunity for us to lead the way on it. But as we go, I just think that there's nothing but benefits if we just like learn off of each other.
For sure.
So I like where this conversation went towards the end right now, because it was like real questions like, yo, how are you doing this? How are you gonna do this? And I fuck with that shit, man. I feel like I learned a lot from this episode. We're gonna go and call it right there. Man, dude, I wish you guys the best, bro. I'm gonna stay in tune. I'm gonna stay locked into the MVP always. I'm trying to get back into the run for it runs, so that way we can like chat like, on Saturdays at least. But yeah, man, I wish you guys the best on the continued journey for the MVP.
For sure, bro.
And take the intermissions, bro. Yeah, they're gonna help out a lot.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you got burnt out, because that means that you challenge yourself. Yeah. What'd you say in the episode with I think it was with Drop Dead about pressure. About pressure's a privilege.
Pressure's a privilege.
Yeah, man. Like,
I'll give him his credit. He definitely introduced me to that one. Yeah,
that's a good quote, bro.
Yeah.
And I think the event was like one of the centerpieces of our conversation today. And I think it was good that, like I said, it was good that you were challenged, because now you know that there's something to work towards, and it ain't just all fucking easy going and shit like that. And it makes it worth it towards the end.
For sure.
So watching you also go through the event kind of like solidified and reminded me of like certain things for our experience as well. It was cool, man. It's cool seeing this experience kind of grow alongside of ours. Like it's cool to just kind of like have constant inspiration.
Always.
So I thank you guys both.
Sure.
For coming through the HQ. Yeah, dude.
Man, we appreciate. We're so grateful for everything you guys have done, and just what we've been able to like bounce off of each other and learn. Like we've gotten so much from it, bro. And we thank David over here, bro. You're amazing, bro. I appreciate everything.
That's
I know.
The MVP right
I know. Not many people.
We rolling.
Exactly. Not many people see David, but man, he's back here like grinding, bro. And Evan, bro, we appreciate you, man. Like just you have a unique perspective on a lot of things, and you're an amazing host, bro. So we appreciate everything, bro.
I'm glad you guys had a good experience, man. That's what we do at the HQ, boy. That's what we'll do.
Make sure we rolling.
Yes, sir. The MVP, bro, the most vulnerable player. We got Diego Ramirez, James Curry in the building. Loud ass applause. This shit was supposed to be dogs at this point.
It's like, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah. Man, we had a whole dog
David,
sound.
What's up, man? David.
We just gotta plug this hoe into the computer, and I think we can upload it into there.
Hell yeah.
Where can they find your guys' work, personal work, MVP work, all that work? Go ahead and plug away.
For sure. I think most everything, our link trees on our Instagram. So my Instagram is diego.ram_. And yours is?
And you can follow me at j.curry with 2 Y's. Also, like I said, I am a salesman at Dodge, so anybody looking for a Jeep, you know what I'm saying? A Dodge, a Ram, holla at me at j.curry. I got you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, we post even personal content on our own page. We post. We also have the most vulnerable player Instagram. You find all the reels, everything. We have our full length episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. And we got the MVP vlogs coming this week, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, man.
But that's what we do, bruh. That's what we do at the HQ. We go ahead and have good conversation over here. Make sure you guys keep showing love. Make sure you guys keep showing support any way you can so that we can get this series in front of more people's eyes. Keep the conversation going. Whether it's on YouTube, if you're keeping up with us on Instagram, following us on mfpearl.com, or if you're checking out the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, you name it. Whatever you can do to show love, make sure you guys keep doing so. Trying to grow out here all 2024. You know what it is. So, yay, it ain't no different, dog. Every Wednesday, Legends Only in the building. We'll see you guys at the next one. Volume 2, live at MFHQ. Yup.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.